Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I am your host on this journey through men's style self-development and personal grooming. Now today, something of an ideological opportunity to have a chat about the qualities of a certain type of man. And this topic comes from a question which I was delighted came into me from Werner Albrecht, who wrote and asked, "It would be interesting to hear your philosophical opinion about the Sigma male. How well does it fit with the idea of being a chap?" And of course, a chap is a gentleman. It's just a term which I use to describe a gentleman. And it's a really good question, and I thank Werner Albrecht for doing so, because it allows me to offer my thoughts on, let's not say the recent, but the surge over recent years of people who seek to emulate these alpha males who have become very prominent on social media. You know who I'm talking about. It's people like Andrew Tate, who sort of exemplify excess, power, strength, dominance, and an overwhelming sense of authority over other people. And this has become somewhat to a degree now termed as toxic masculinity. And of course, I don't think there's any place for toxic masculinity in the world of the defined gentleman, the chap, somebody who seeks to be the best version of himself. And this term, Sigma male. Now, this has become popular over the last sort of 15 years, 2010s onwards. And it became seen as something of a counterpoint to the alpha male. So we all know the alpha male is this powerful, all-conquering, heroic figure who, dominates through strength of character. To some people, that's attractive. To me, the Sigma male ideology seems much more aligned to how I want to live my own life. And Sigma males, let me tell you what the definition of a Sigma male is. It is a man who is independent, self-reliant, prefers solitude. The term originates from the manosphere from the sort of 2010s, like I said, and it's become quite popular in recent years. It is often used to describe a male who is similar to an alpha male, but is more introverted and more focused on self-mastery, rather than imposing his mastery on other people, which I think the alpha male concept has really come to be. And when you look at the sort of social hierarchy using alpha and such, you will notice actually that the Sigma male holds an equivalent status with the alpha male. It is just they choose to sit outside the normal protocols and the hierarchy that we see of the social sexual world around us today. So it's a different way of being at the top of the tree. And for me, it's one which, as I say, resonates more with me. Because really, when I say about Sigmas, they have independence, self-sufficiency, introspection, and self-awareness at the core of what they are. They understand what they are, where they're coming from, and perhaps to a degree where they're going. And you might think that is at odds with the modern persona of a gentleman, who is maybe somebody more calm, more relaxed, who is very interested in the hierarchy of life and putting themselves at the top of it. But I think the Sigma male is a very good fit, is a very good alignment with gentlemanly qualities. And it can very much, if you're a Sigma male personality, it can deeply fit into the world of the chap, the gentleman. So I've put some thought to it, and I've made some notes here, because I like these philosophical conversations which are prompted by gentlemen who write in, because they allow me to expose my own soul as well as looking at the philosophy of human character. And I've got some thoughts that I'm going to talk about today, why I think being a Sigma male may make you the perfect gentleman material. Now, the first reason why I think a Sigma male might be the ideal chap is because of self-reliance and independence. Because actually, when we talk about Sigma ideology, it is very much defined by independence. And, you know, the Sigma male moves through life on his own terms. He very much does so. He doesn't follow trends, fashions, and the flip-flopping of tastes which go on around him. And I would say the same thing applies to the modern gentleman, very much so. You know, the gentleman exhibits self-reliance. He is not pushed along in life by fashions and trends. He doesn't have to go out and buy a new suit every year because his lapels are a quarter of an inch too wide or short. He, over years, establishes his own tastes, his own values to the way which he decides to live his life. And this is very much in tune with the Sigma mindset. You know, he's not following fashion blindly. He's not, buying things because they're in trend at the moment, because he knows what he wants. A few years ago, he bought the suit that he's wearing today because he bought it because it conformed to his taste. And he doesn't care what goes on around him. He doesn't care if people are wearing skinny fit suits or baggy suits. His suit is what he is going to wear, regardless of what other wears. He's formed his own opinions based on his tastes, and that really is the embodiment, I think, of a gentleman, which very closely overlaps with what we've talked about with the Sigma mindset. And I think, by embracing maybe the broader Sigma mindset, the gentleman goes through life knowing that he is being authentic. You are making decisions based on what you want, based on your life experience, your knowledge, the cultural and heritage background that you've grown up with. You're not being driven by others. You're not having influences and pressures heaped upon your shoulders to go out and buy things, to do things, to act in a certain way. As we've seen with alpha males in recent years, who've followed this sort of ideology which has been peddled by people like, as I say, Andrew Tate, who is powerful, strong, wealth is everything. You know, if you're not as good as me, you're rubbish. The gentleman is not like that at all. Lives his own life. Doesn't care what others are doing. He's independent, self-assured. He's authentic. He makes his decisions based around his tastes. And I think that is where the alignment with the Sigma mentality definitely shows itself. Now, the next area where I think being the Sigma male and being a modern gentleman will certainly overlap is the areas of intellectual depth and curiosity. Because Sigma males are often very thoughtful. They're very introspective. They like to look within themselves and probe the depths of their own persona. They are constantly pursuing knowledge and a greater awareness of the world around them. They want to get the most out of this life because we only get one shot at it. And the more you know about things around you, the more you will gather the most pleasure from it. And that intellectual curiosity, I think, sits very closely with what I think a modern gentleman is very much all about. Because the modern chap, is somebody who values his own self-improvement. I mean, I know I do. I consider myself to be something of a gentleman, and I'm on that journey. But for me, it's constantly about learning more, being the best version of myself. It's the ever-going pursuit of self-improvement. And that can be through any number of different avenues, can't it? It can be with engaging with as wide a variety as people that you can, having conversations, learning from the depth of knowledge which other people have. It can be engaging in hobbies, as broad and as weird and as myriad in their tastes as they may be. But hobbies are the things which add value and richness to our life. And I think the gentleman that you encounter will be the man who has weird hobbies. He's into deep sea diving, he's into reading, he's into knitting and crochet and playing golf. And all at the same time, he's doing all of these things. He's got an incredible encyclopedic knowledge of repairing ancient vintage Land Rover engines at the same time as he works in the IT industry. And he's very savvy in modern technologies. So that for me is the modern gentleman. And he's always seeking new educational opportunities, going to events where he's going to learn something, even though on the face of it those events look a little boring or outside the comfort zone. the modern gentleman goes anyway, because there's something to be gained from it. And I think that's where the gentleman and the modern Sigma male definitely overlap. This mindset of personal growth, getting better. Because the modern gentleman, let's be honest, right? I've said this so many times. Clothes do not make the man. They are merely the veneer by which we keep ourselves warm. It is not as important as what lies between the ears, and that is what the real gentleman is all about. It's not about a bowler hat and shiny shoes. It is about the intellect, the curiosity, constantly curious. And I think that is where we can definitely see an overlap with the Sigma male. Now, the next area where I think Sigma males and gentlemen really come from the same, cut from the same cloth, is emotional control and composure, because it is the joint hallmark of the Sigma and the Chap that they have the ability to stay calm in challenging situations. And in fact, the more challenging situations are, the more trauma there is, you will find they are the ones who stand out from the crowd, who are able to have control over their emotions, to remain steadfast, and to see the wood for the trees. They are able to, have that eye over the whole situation and be able to deal with things. And Sigma males, much like the gentleman, are emotionally self-contained, all right? They have the ability to rely on their inner strength at times when things get a bit tough. They can look deep within their souls and come out with the strength of character which is necessary to overcome situations. They don't need to have validation from other people who slap them on the back and saying, you're doing really well. Like you often see with the alpha males. These guys who go on social media desperately trying to get others to emulate them because it gives them this sense of self-validation. They talk about money and personal possessions and how important that is and how they spend and have wonderful cars and great holidays and beautiful girlfriends. And whilst those things are superficially attractive to other people, what do they really mean? It's very little about the personality of the individual. If they measure their own success on things of that nature. So the modern gentleman is able to exhibit good emotional control. He remains steady in the same way as the Sigma does. There's no doubt about that. So incorporating those Sigma traits means that you can gain some degree of mastery of your own emotional journey. And when we look at I looked up earlier, movie stars, because I thought, people we would all be aware of. Movie stars who are considered to be Sigma males. Keanu Reeves, Clint Eastwood, Johnny Depp, and in the broader world of art, David Bowie. And I guess they're right. They are people who are very well known, but who do not conform to the rigmarole of the movie star life. They're not on the red carpet all the time. They're not chasing the validation of others. Alpha males in the movie star world, incidentally, are described as people like Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham, Andrew Tate, we know about that, Clark Gable and Kirk Douglas from the older era. Who are these sort of embodiments of the perfect masculine male? And I think it doesn't show great emotional intelligence. It just shows that, they want the hero worship of other people. So I think for me, emotional control and composure is definitely, again, a field in which the gentleman and the Sigma overlap quite a lot. Now, the next era in which I think the Sigma and the gent inhabit the same world is respect for individuality, because really the Sigma male thrives outside that social hierarchy. He chooses not to compete for dominance or recognition from others. He deliberately lives outside that triangle of hierarchy that we've seen. And he allows others to do the same at the same time. He values the fact that other people choose not to be part of the conformity of society, because he doesn't either. He doesn't judge them for that. He refrains from judgment. He knows that everybody in this world is on a different path. No two people, even if they come from the same starting point, will arrive at the same ending point in life without going on some wild, circuitous journey which takes them there, and which no two people have an identical path. And that respect for individuality makes the Sigma gentleman a powerful presence in any social situation. If you go to a dinner party, you will find the alpha male, and you know he's there because he's the loudest man in the room, he's the brashest man in the room. If it's a black tie event, he's the guy who's deliberately decided to wear a white dinner jacket or a pink dinner jacket because he wants to stand out. He wants to be the center of attention. He loves it. He laps it up. He likes hero worship. But the Sigma male is very different. He's the man who engages in the conversation with the people who are on the periphery, who are not part of that inner circle of the elites. Because the Sigma male and the gentleman knows they are the ones with the best story to tell. They are the ones who are actually introverts, perhaps, like himself to a degree, but they have a great background behind them. And if he can learn from that, his own life will be improved by it. So the Sigma male is a great person to have in these social situations because he's not conforming to social expectations. He's not the loudmouth guy that secretly everybody pretends to pay homage to, but actually they think he's a total asshole because, you know, who the hell does he think he is? Turning up dressed differently to everybody else, shooting his mouth off and getting drunk and, you know, all the things that they tend to do. So I think the gentleman and the Sigma male who listens, speaks with authenticity to people and learns from them as part of his self-mastery journey, but makes other people feel happy along the way. That's quite a quality to have. Okay, the last reason why I think the Sigma male and the gentleman, well, they're cut from the same cloth really, is that they both exhibit quiet confidence. Sigma males are well known for the fact that they are self-assured. They are confident within themselves. They don't need the constant hero worship of other people to feel good about themselves. They've gained self-mastery. They know if they're a good person or not. They don't need other people to tell them that. They don't need to broadcast their status to other people to get that feedback to make themselves feel good. Because they're already there mentally. They know what's happening, right? They know their status in life because they've created it. They've chipped it out of the rock of the journey of life. And I think that is where the Sigma male and the gentleman overlie totally. Because that value of self-confidence is one of the main traits of the modern gentleman. He doesn't need to brag or assert dominance over other people to make himself feel good. He's already there. He knows he is good, or is on the journey to being good. Now, if I was to think of one person who perhaps exemplifies what I think a real Sigma male is, I think it's James Bond, the character. Because he's not alpha, really. I mean, he is kind of. There's a crossover here. Alphas and Sigmas are very close. But the alpha is the loudmouth, the braggart, the one who is... He's not self-assured. He's assured in his confidence by everybody else who tells him he is. James Bond, though, is the man who lives outside the normal hierarchy of life, isn't he? He's on the corner. He's the grey man. He is very self-assured in himself, but it's all on his terms, not on other people's. And I think if you think about it, you know, that's kind of the definition of a Sigma. Most people would think Bond is an alpha, but actually I don't think he is. I think he aligns more closely with the Sigma philosophy. Now, the Sigma and the modern gentleman have got a lot of crossover, as I've said, in conclusion. You know, he's authentic, he's independent, he's curious, he's respectful of others, and he's emotionally controlled in the way which he goes about life. I've kind of delved into my own soul here, and I don't know if I'm a Sigma male. I would like to be. Perhaps that's a journey we're all on to find where we are. I mean, I certainly don't feel the need to sit within the hierarchical triangle of life and be anywhere near the top. I prefer to cut my own path in life. I'm out here in the woods at a time when most other men might be in the pub having a beer together. So I do like introspection, and I do like spending time in solitude. So I think I do have some of the qualities of the Sigma. I'd be interested to know what you think you are. Are you an Alpha, a Sigma, a Beta? All of these other terminologies which are given these days. It's fascinating to delve into it. So I'd like to thank Werner Albrecht for posing the question. I'm sorry it's been quite a long answer, but there was a lot to unpack there. And I hope you've enjoyed the conversation today. If you have, please drop me a question on your philosophical, conundrum, and I will endeavour to give you my observations. Non-expert testimony. I'm just a guy who has my own thoughts, and I will share them with you. But it's great to have those thoughts promoted by people, or prompted rather, by people who throw these questions in. So thanks very much. Don't forget, if you want to ask a question, you can do it in the comment section or drop me an email. I am the only person who puts his eyes on my emails, so I read them with total discretion and no judgment, so you can ask me anything. If you have enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe for more. If you want to support the channel, you could buy me a coffee, which is a one-off thing, or you could even become a patron. And for a very small monthly fee, you can benefit from the additional video content and interaction which I have with my patrons, and you'll find the link to my Patreon page in the show notes below. So until the next time, my Sigma gentlemen friends, take care, and I'll see you again very soon.